March 12th, 2026. I thought with the last video I did, putting it out there how retarded people are to actually fall for this scam. That they're using their ignorance and their stupidity. We're at an Oakland apartment, December 9th, 21, 4 p.m. They had told him all the days before with them and not me. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. Okay? All right. And before Christmas of 21, he said, I think the COVID virus damaged a lot of people's brains. They are finding things funny that aren't. And I think it caused a great amount of mental illness in this area. All these people act like they're demon possessed and mentally ill. The ones that are participating in this. I thought this morning I'll get it out how stupid people are. You look at the law, no one can do this. And when you realize, it took me a while to put everything together. Lived through a lot of injuries. That is just Katie's family. Her mom, Mary, her niece, Michelle, Henry Muffy's a family member, Anita's her sister-in-law, and Pam Strange's niece. And I told you Strange hated the government. The government's evil. They'll take your kids. They'll brainwash them. They'll come in and take your guns. You have to hide them in the backyard and in pipes. Hated the government. Hated my brother-in-law Craig that worked for the government. And he thinks he's so great working for the government out there living a wild life. So how dare he have my son come out there and stay in the middle of that? I mean, he hated Craig. So pulling a fast one on the FBI, what is a great thrill to him? Okay. Now, being a low-educated minister, he got his minister's license in 1950 and only got it because some ministers taught some classes at the church. Signed some minister license. Only got that church because the guy couldn't sell it. And he offered him a land contract if he missed one payment. He lost everything. That's why he bullied everything out of it. He only had a high school diploma from 1950s. He could only read, write, add and subtract, multiply, and divide. Had a great school education, what we would have now. He did not understand the right of privacy in your home. A constitutional right that only police and agencies can be in your home under a threat of life with statements in a court order. He did not realize that the FBI don't use sodium pentothal, that they don't drug people for fake confessions. He's an occult. He didn't know the law of HIPAA, that your doctor could never talk about you, cannot share your medical records. And that his scam was so Twilight Zone. Drug confessions, photoshopping and washing, and fake dirty doctors breaking HIPAA. Twilight Zone. Like the cops said, that worked my case, nobody fell for that. Now, I want you to think about that. I have went over and over again how that agent talked to me. And it's not funny, and it's really not funny that they're sending out that recording to police stations trying to get him arrested. An investigator showing up that they're testifying against him for telling on me. And that, what else? He took a payoff. They want Agent John in jail. And they want the case thrown out for fraud. They have already announced it 2 or 3 years ago. And last year that they were going to be going after the case in him for defrauding me, and that they can't use surveillance under fraud. Had no right around her. She's either a paid FBI informant, and he sticks up for her, or he was defrauding her the whole time. And they had no right around her. See, these people had no right around me. Dave can't hire these people on his own. And that every bit of surveillance led to every arrest thrown out. And I don't think people realize the magnitude of people that'll be released if they get their way. That he was defrauding me, so all surveillance has to be thrown out. He had no right around me. So felony evasion of privacy. Yeah, and then fraud, and then him taking a payoff. They are going after Agent John hard and heavy and showing up that they're testifying against him. I was up in Maryland today going through McDonald's, walked out, said we found out that they're telling that Agent John took a payoff for all this to happen. I know. It's not even funny. They set him. See, what they did to me is Twilight Zone, but they set him up perfectly to get him to open a fraud case on me, leave me up there. Oh, but open a real case with statements, money, immunity, but then defraud me. Should have never went along with it. You should have arrested him on the spot. On the spot. Nipped it. Do you know how many thousands of people would be alive? And then them sending out those emails of him bullying me, and then even altered ones. Then saying no one's to believe her, no one's to help her. Trying to discredit me so that the case gets thrown out. See, it's not illegal for them to insult me, but it is illegal for an attorney, a prosecutor, a police judge to call me a liar when it comes to the case. Because the integrity of the case has to stay intact. If it does not stay intact, and they put it out that, oh, so-and-so's a liar, the surveillance they got is illegitimate, the case has to be thrown out, then all the drug cartel dealers, all the human traffickers that were caught under surveillance can walk. That's why it's a federal crime, a big one. Because I want people to start thinking. The big arrest up in Summit County, where the human traffickers were selling people out of hotels a few years ago. Some of those were my riffraff. Okay? Where I was having trouble with my car. It was December of 22, January 23. Really cold day. Pulled over in an auto place. The guy said, well, you know the human traffickers that were here. I was like, yeah, I know about them. He said, well, the police all got together, raided the hotels where they were grabbing all those people. They were selling them out of the hotels. And he said one of the young girls that were helping sell people had a baby that was 18 months old. He said, I offered to adopt him so he wouldn't grow up in orphanage, foster home. No, and everybody knowing that his mother was a human trafficker. That's a serial killer and a child molester. He said, I didn't want that baby to grow up with that stigma. I said, that is really nice of you to care. He said, it just ate at me. And he said, I went over and I offered her and she allowed me to adopt him because that mother's not going to get out of jail for 20 years. They get their way, she'll be out. Then he asked me if I seen a tall white man with whitish blonde hair, clean cut, 50, 60 years old. Then rolled up dress shirts and expensive dress pants. And I said yes. And then he grabs his chest. She didn't realize who it was. And it was some Russian that was selling people here. And those were part of his people. And his people got arrested. You've seen him in your life? It's like, yeah, several times. I'm sorry. He didn't wear a name badge. Am I supposed to guess who's bad and who's good unless I've seen you around the cops in uniform? Huh? Unless you're threatening me or defending me, am I supposed to guess who you are? Seriously. But I want you to think about that. Where they were selling those women and children out of hotels that they grabbed here a few years ago. They were arrested. Those people that were selling human beings will be released. Judge Peters in Florida and 100 men. His people were up here at Faith Family Church, seen with Mary's niece, Michelle, her bragging and to people that she can have anybody drugged, beaten, raped. And she was with the people from Florida said they worked for Judge Peters. She was also lying that she was a retired Judge Pete's daughter, then FBI agent Will's daughter, and she is just Mary's niece, Katie's family member. She just lied to make herself look grand, and she's nothing but Henry Moffey, that Will guy's daughter, and he's just a drug dealer. They conned everybody that they were so great. I want you to think of that one. Okay? Now I want you to also think where Michelle admitted September 30th, 25 at 1 o'clock in the morning, the cartel was furious. They sent a biker down, knowing my car's blocked, screaming at her for a confession so the cops could have her. On surveillance. Guys running in this showed up and said no one's to say a word to her again in her life. They found out this whole thing was your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she even know who you are? No. I don't want her to know. If I knock on that door, she answers it. Will she know who you are? No. I don't want her to know. It took me a while to figure out who she was. Okay? And said, you had her skull bashed in, you had her raped and tortured because your family was in debt to drug dealers? Yes. I'm sorry. It was your family that incited her new husband's family to take his farm and to threaten him? Yes, but I really wanted that farm. I really liked it. Mary's family wanted to steal land from my husband under threats and extortion. I think they need to be stopped. Okay? And I listened to her friend Matt and her talk January 13th, 23, that the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life for letting all those people be human trafficked. And was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. Your family even human trafficked people. To pay off those debt to those drug dealers? Yes. So he said, I listened to September of 23, the original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything. Did you know that? Yes. They confronted her ex-husband that if he knew that the doctors were wrote up before of medication error, fraud, and medical malpractice. Did you know that? Yes. Did you know that they encouraged them to sue them for years? Yes. Get the idea. Then if you put January 1926 when the Henry Moffey comes in, how he was glad he never met me in person, and how he is the one that told my new husband's family that he would steal everything for them. So that's Michelle's dad. And he was the one that got a hold of me online, where I got that weird message through Instagram. I think you're beautiful. Something about loving on beach. I don't know, from Adam. And with those messages, I proved to her husband she was cheating. That's not me cheating. That's you being weird. I don't know you. I tell all men she's not good enough for another man. And I'm glad I never met her in person. I was like, fuck you. You wouldn't have got a pity date. And I heard the other Michelle's telling on us. Oh boy, is she telling on them. December 1st, 25. The real pretty Michelle with long blonde hair. That, she told March 27th, 25, April 17th, 25, of the dirty doctor the doctor from before not being one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. And, that I don't know who he is. It's HIPAA. No doctor can be with them. It's a federal crime. See, these people don't know that. They're dumb. And when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. Okay? So this guy, and then started threatening her. Instead of her cowering, that lady went badass. I haven't met her yet, but I am so proud of her. Standing up to Katie's family. And then said, December 1st, 25, Walmart 62, that Michelle showed up in his office and told him that this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. They admitted that November 23rd, 25 in Macy's and Summit Mall. Then that the doctor from before is not one of mine works for them, and they had lied. And she actually don't know who he is. Okay? And that guy Pete that was running his mouth about her in his office, it's just some guy Dave hired on his own. She don't know who he is either. Okay? And they admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And she has no memory of these people. And the tape of Weird with Yourself is photoshopped her washing in the shower. And the whole thing was nothing but a scam to extort money from the government. Okay? Where he said, I heard the other Michelle's telling on. Yeah, she's telling on him. He admitted it. And that, while the FBI is busy with Minnesota, I'm going to pull a fast one on them. I got a judge's friend that's going to enter everything in court. And the tape of Weird with Yourself, it's already a shower scene in the other room. They've already confessed for years. Laughed at people for falling for it. They even did a body ratio July 25th, 25. It wasn't even me. Some lady showering, but they put my head on her body. Body ratio wasn't the same. And all the other drawn confessions, and have the judge sign everything over to him, and I'll leave town, I'll be long gone, I'll pull a fast one and steal all the money from the case. I thought, fuck you, you will not. I told the FBI, I told the sheriffs, and I wrote the president. Like hell, you'll get a fucking dime out of this. And then, we were right before the case started. Anita and Pam were talking at Apostolic Church of Barberton. And they weren't very far off, and said, Mary, and I'm sitting there with Dave, Mary's niece, Michelle, is willing to kill someone just for the opportunity to date someone like Dave. He was so excited. He never had anybody willing to kill someone just for the opportunity to date Dave. You know that poor family? They could really use Dave's help. They're in debt. The family in debt to drug dealers. It's Mary's family. Katie's. God of heaven. It's just them lying. Just like Katie lying that I was supposed to threaten her, and I haven't talked to her since 2011, only said hi walking by. The one that likes to make up stories for people's attention that other men are moving out and going out with her. Made up all kinds of crazy crap on Dave, and Dave got mad and quit his church. Where it was so bad. I was going to Blaylock's church. And this little old lady came up and said, I heard your husband left. I said, ma'am, I don't know who told you that. My husband's still at home. And then she says it again, I heard you're in denial. I said, ma'am, I don't know where you're getting it. My husband did not leave me. I heard you won't accept it. I said, ma'am. She wouldn't listen to me. She was telling people that I caught her and Dave in bed, chased around the house with a knife and down the street with a knife. I never caught him with anybody. She made up all kinds of crazy crap that he moved out, he's going out with her, and he's still at home. And even more, I finally went over to Frances, and I said, Frances, will you go for a walk with me? I said, what on earth is going on? She said, Mary hates you. That's Katie's mom. I said, why would she hate me? I haven't seen her in 8 years. She started laughing and said, is that what's going on? I said, what's going on? You don't know? No, what? Never mind. Started laughing. Just like Katie was lying that I threatened her, and I haven't said but hi to her since 2011. Just a polite hi. I told you she dates my brother-in-law Tim. My sister Linda knows it, and she won't leave him. So we just act stupid. So after all that crazy crap, we avoided her even more like the plague and walked on the other side of the kiosk or didn't say anything, hoping she couldn't say we said anything. And here the girls run around lying again, telling people I threatened her and didn't even talk to her. What do you think of that? I don't think Katie is funny, and I don't think her mom Mary, her sister-in-law Anita, and Pam being Strange's niece and their niece Michelle messed up in drugs with her dad Henry Moffitt running a drug scam on the government. I told you Strange hated the government. He didn't know law, so did he know the right to privacy? No. That they couldn't get special permission to be in my home stalking tapes, photoshopping and washing. And these people even laughed at me that when I walked by in rooms, they would stab me with those hypnotic drugs. Hypnotic drugs cause basically a hypnotized situation. Within about 45 seconds, your conscience shuts down. You are sleepwalking. You can walk, you can talk, you can eat, you can cook, you can drive, and you have no memory. It even says you can have sex with somebody and never remember. For hours. You're just under someone else's control. And there's no permanent memory. They did the same thing to a U.S. Marshal's kid twice. My neighbor Mike and my coworker Don. I don't think they're funny. Hard to know how many other ones. Okay. So, with this being Mary's family, Katie's family, I don't think they're funny. Run around asking people to help steal and try to steal my husband's farm and inciting his son to try to kill him, or having my head bashed in, he raped, tortured, on a lie she made up that I threatened her and I hadn't even seen her talk to her. You know what's something? I told the FBI, a hotline, that I hadn't talked to her in years. Years. How would you know that it's them then? Because she left threats in the mall with 3 people I know. So that agent knew I didn't talk to them. They knew that they pushed my kid to suicide. Only visited twice in 2011 when they were making up stories then. Trying to find out why they were making up stories. And I didn't find out. That place gave me nightmares. They had pushed my kid to suicide in 03. I had nothing to do with them. No contact. No nothing. Think about that. I mean, if you're forced to say hi to somebody as they walk by, you want nothing to do with any of those people. Think about it. And then when Dave quit his church, definitely no contact. Think how awful this is. And think about the slogan for their church. That they're letting, if you're a married man, your wife don't attend our church, you can date our women. You want a divorce? We got men to drug and tell them to say stuff, Photoshop and frame them, have them beat, raped, tortured, skull bashed in if they live. We'll make sure you get everything. We have our own extortion ring. Now think about this. I called the FBI hotline. I cried my eyes out. The next day, the phone's ringing. I can't wake up all the way. Rivers of tears running out my face. I kept saying I can't. Let it go to voicemail. Woke up later. I had to hold onto the wall to get the bathroom refrigerator. Got back in bed. Listened to the voicemail. This is Agent. Did it call me back? I can't. Second day, not much better. Third day, made myself get up. Got enough air in my face. Called a witness that they had witnessed for me. Went out, bought a card, put that agent's number in, dropped it off at the mall. Our manager put a locker. Went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. I can still see Paymer screaming at Dave, waving his arm. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off. That was the first time I seen Officer John sitting there. I thought he was pointing at him. But Dave told Danny when I walked off, the agent walked up to him and he talked to him at that church. He actually met him. Okay? So, I walk off, women walk off. He knows she's being drugged, being raped, and he said he didn't care. I'm covered in bruises, lost 18 pounds. I'm blaming the dirty orange well water I'm showering in. Thinking it's giving me cancer, it's so toxic, it's doing all this stuff to me. Here I'm being drugged, being raped. In my own home by predators. Okay? I go in and sit down. Those women follow me. He knows she's being drugged, being raped, and he said he didn't care. She was going to be thinking she was like a 15-year-old baby lie strange made up when he thought I was following Tim and Katie. Huh? Pushed my kid to suicide? Make sure I wouldn't come back? Real funny, isn't it? And it was medical malpractice, medication errors, and fraud. Documented. Everything. My community health. 2002 proven, and 2003 when I got well. Okay. So, then if she's going to be mean to their women, I wasn't mean to anybody. And he was going to turn her back over to him. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go, we get out of the truck. You call the FBI on me, I ought to kill you myself. And I scream back at him, what'd you expect? These people threatening my life. And people showing up. And he goes for a loaded gun, I put my hand on the couch. He beat me all the way home. Almost jumped out on the highway. I ran from him. Next day, rivers of tears. Recorded line. Recorded line. Okay? Called that agent back. I tell him someone told on me. He calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He calls me a liar. I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. And before I can see Terry Copley seen him. Oh, come on now. Even if a church person's seen him, they wouldn't verify it. Well, he did. Well, she did. I met with that family in my office, the one that's pulling your leg that her father killed their kid. Vehicular homicide. And all those church people that are pulling your leg. And I know they're trying to kill you. And he says strangest lie, calling me a faker. I said I really was sick before. So if he knows they're trying to kill me, he's had him in his office. They confessed to him. Why didn't he arrest him? Exactly. Why didn't he do his sworn duty and arrest him? I said I really was sick before. You liar. He said, was there a camera by the bench or not? I don't know. You say you're lying or I'm going to come up there and put you in jail. You hear me? I'll arrest you. I will come up there and put you in jail. You don't say you're lying. I'm like, fine. And he's like, ha! Like the lady said, the way he laughed at her sounded like pure evil. He could tell they taped over a part of it. But you could hear him bullying her and laughing at her, and it sounded like pure evil. It was like Satan possessing people's souls in this. Demons of hell. Then he said, I want you to say you're faking you were sick before. Well, it's ridiculous. I almost died from medical malpractice. My whole body's swelled up. I'm having a heart attack. I'm having seizures. My thyroid, my adrenal gland shut down. And they were lying so bad they even said I had level 2 brain tumors and wanted to remove part of my brain. And my community health told me they were known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, making them sick, and getting kickbacks from the drug company and defrauding people. And to get off those medications, it's them killing you. Get an attorney and sue them and turn them over to the state and pull your license. We'll even represent you in court, and encouraged us for years to sue them. And it's documented fraud. Everything but my muscles locking up from the surgeries. And it took me 9 months to get well. I said I really was sick before. He's like, you liar. He said, I met with that family in my office, and what, her father murdered her kid 6 months before. Strange made up that lie, and him making up that lie had nothing to do with him. That confessed on March 27th, 25 to an agent they were lying to people so they'd help out. Those people. Yeah, the ones that were scamming you. And all those church people. And I know they're trying to kill you. It's the strangest lie of because you were faking you were sick. I was never faking. You can't fake that shit. I said I really was sick before. You need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame him for trying to kill you. Aiding and abetting murder. Recorded lie. I said I really was sick. You say you're faking or I'll leave you there. I said, but they're going to kill me. So they're going to try to kill me. So you either say it or I'll leave you there. Please don't let them kill me. And I'm screaming and begging for my life. And he's like, I said, say it or leave you there. It's like, fine, just don't let them kill me. Yeah. The recorded line is nothing but pure evil. He's like, give me a real reason why the FBI wouldn't help you. Would help you. I said, well, they're going to try to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. And the other one yells out, well, we could always use Pete's tape of Weird with Yourself. The shower scene in the other room by a man I've never met. I don't even know who he's talking about. The only Pete I know is my brother Medina. And I haven't seen him in years. And I've talked to him, but I hadn't seen him. And I said, what are you talking about? Oh, he's talking about my rapist, probably. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Stop, she don't know. Well, they made a fool out of you, June 7th, 23. How they fooled you with it. Then he said something else about Pete. Now, I've never met him. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, stop, she don't know. I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this psychiatrist for a sexual disorder, one of your brothers. I almost started yelling at him. I had to catch myself. Why don't you stop lying? Why don't you stop lying? And then it clicked. I thought, I wonder if it's that lady that used my insurance, ran up medical bills, which I also found out March 27, 25. It was another girlfriend of David. He let her use my insurance for 15 years. Struck me for the copays, where I thought it was random and that somebody stole my ID and was committing identity fraud. No, here it's just my ex and another girlfriend playing with me again. I thought maybe it's that other lady's medical bills. Trying to put common sense to a lie. Here's just a scam. Just something they made up just to be smartasses. I said, I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about. I told you, I almost screamed at him, why don't you stop lying? It took me everything in me not to. And I said, I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about. He's like, stop, nah. Give me a real reason. I told him about my brother-in-law, Craig Davis. Died working for the government. He worked under Dick Cheney at the Pentagon. He was a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted, did war weapons, spyware, and traveled the world. His one boss was a spook. That's a spy for the government. He may have been one too, because he went undercover out of the country for 30, 60 days. See what I mean? Craig was very vague on what he did for the government. And he said, well, he said, first of all, if you talk to any law enforcement about threats on your life, I said, the only ones I've ever talked to, two silly officers, August 8 of 18, midnight light in the outside security system, told me I looked like an alien orb, angry spirit, and told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. You're kidding, right? And I said, no, they didn't want bothered. I've never even had my neighbors in my home. I've only had family repair guys and those silly officers. He's like, is that what's going on? Do you know if Dave's cheating? I said, I've never caught him. He starts laughing. She said she never caught him. Dave verified that December 9th, 18. he said, "Oh, I could take you somewhere and leave you with no money." I don't have money to start. I told him that. He said, "Well, if you agree to get information on Dave and the churches, I can open an informant case." I said, "I can do that. Comes with $5,000 a month. I'm loading the money on the card." He said, "You'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally dated against you again. And only for you and only for you would we do this for." We'll always put it back as if it never happened. You can't be legally charged for anything for working this case. Okay? He said, "Admit to no wrongdoing. I'll take care of everything in the end." Okay? He said, "But if you try to tell people, I'll tell people you're crazy and the FBI won't help you." 14th Amendment, they cannot withhold protection from any U.S. citizen in any jurisdiction. And he can't threaten somebody not to say anything that is considered blackmail. And an FBI agent actually tells someone they can't say something, an informant, witness, or victim, there's a 20-year sentence of tampering with a witness and obstruction to justice. Only a judge can put a gag order in a jury trial. You have a freedom of speech. Okay? He said, "But if you need help, the chief of police is my best friend of Canton." And he said, he's a really good man and you can trust him. And he'll always make sure the Canton police protect you. I told Walter Moss from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office what he said. He laughed till he cried. He said, "First of all, the police know they can't go along with it. He can't bully you into false statements under threats." He said, "And he can't tell you can't say anything. He's only a higher police officer. It takes a judge and a jury trial. First Amendment." He said, and he cannot withhold your money. He cannot misdirect it. He can't make up his own rules. No judge can sign it. It is a federal crime, or it is illegal. And it's a crime for him to say it. It's actually a federal crime. I looked it up. He said, and the police know they can't go along with it. He said, "Karen, you don't realize you are in one of the many witness protection programs. Informants are different. You stay yourself, you feed them information. It's for risking your life to get the government information. And only for risking your life. They can't tell you can't say anything. He can't tell on you. He can't do any of this. And the only thing legal he did was list you informant with money and immunity. And the police would know that. They can't go along with anything else." And he said, "And you're in a threat and attempt to life case that you cannot get out. These people try to kill you, and they can wait and try to kill you again. The most the FBI can do is put you in another witness protection program. Otherwise, you stay an informant for life and immunity for life, and you get the money the rest of your life." I never got it. He stole it. See, that's where they're going after him. For all the drugs, see where they said, "It's funny, I didn't know what they were doing. It's so funny they didn't know what's going on. We're using her as a pawn." And then they say, "Well, we drugged her and told her to say it before. We photoshopped that shower scene in the other room to make her look weird. We framed her, but it's so funny she doesn't know what's going on." It's like, what the fuck is funny about this? And then they set up that agent to be arrested. And they were exposing corrupt law enforcement in this area publicly. And then last year, that agent were in 19, they were saying that they were looking for legal loopholes. He told on her before he called. He didn't pay her. He left her there. He bullied her. And then by 22, 23, and then last year, and they were setting all this up. Okay? Last year, they said they were going to go after that agent to be arrested. The whole case thrown out for fraud. He was just defrauding her. He had no right around her. It's illegal surveillance because he was not there to protect her. He did not pay her. They want every drug cartel released, every human trafficker, anybody connected that was arrested off this, released, and then they're going to sue the government for false arrest for millions and extended amount of money. For false arrest. He was defrauding her the whole time, and you cannot use fraud. See, what those people did to me is fraud. Fraud. Like Walter said, the whole thing that these people did to you is a fraud scheme. Well, see, that's where they're saying that agent was defrauding me too. And he can't use his surveillance, where they even said what they needed was that quarter to surveillance me. The way the agent set it up, they don't even need me. It's a threat and attempt to life case for an FBI informant with statements in a judge's order for the police to surveillance me. But since he didn't pay me and he told on me and he just left me there, they're trying to get it thrown out. Everything as far as the surveillance. And then those drug dealers that were arrested, released. And they're going after him to be arrested. On March 5th, 26, down Magnolia Bell Store, ladies are in there talking, that they send out the recorded line parts of it where he's pulling you, say you're lying or I'll arrest you, say you're lying or I'll put you in jail. That they could tell they taped over part of it. But the way that agent laughed at her when he was pulling at her was pure evil. And these people have witnessed against that agent that he even took a payoff to let all this happen to her and for him to talk to her like that. They are going after Agent John hot and heavy. All he has to do is pay me, stand up for the case. See, this is where, people can insult me personally, but they cannot call me a liar when it comes to the case as far as the police, a prosecutor's office, attorney, or a judge. Because when it comes to the case, it's right on Google. They can't call you a liar when it comes to the case because it is a federal investigation against the drug cartel. If you insult the integrity of the person that helped get information, the case can get thrown out. That's why it makes it illegal for them to call me a liar when it refers to the case. Got it? Now, to me, I had no part of this, nor did I know what they were doing. I'm just one of their victims. They were human trafficking. And they chose to run a scam on to trick that agent into opening a fraud case. He's got choices. He can defend me, he can pay me, and then arrest these people. But if they're going for his arrest, and people, even up in Fairlawn, lady said, we found out that they told on Agent John that he took a payoff. They're going for the surveillance to be thrown out, the case to be thrown out. They want the drug cartel release George Peters out of Florida, the Texas group, Buffalo, New York, human traffickers, Michigan, California. The ones that came up here and played the sick game of who paid for the harassment each day. And they got surveillance on each one of them and then went after them. The U.S. Marshal showed up January 20th, 23 in Worcester. Maddie's friend on the police department knew of my case. 2.5 hours away, knew about the Texas group that they're all after. See, that's where they have told people she's part of a really big bust. Now, I want people to start thinking about all the drug cartels that were arrested in Ohio after the last few years and all the people, including the 45 children in Akron they found. I want you to start thinking of the other hundreds they found throughout Ohio where they were still selling them. Their kidnappers will be released back into society. The ones that are going to be in danger are women and children that they will sell if they get out. And more lives won't be cost because of Mary's family wanting to steal from the government. I do not find them funny. My one house manager was taken Christmas Day of 2018 by the same guy that tried to kidnap me. And the same guy that tried to kidnap me, that was part of the group, took another coworker from another job, her family member, and these people laughed. They cut her up in pieces in her face repeatedly. These people are serial killers and murderers, and they sell human beings. They're behind bars because they're animals. And where they even said they want everything thrown out and never being able to use it against them again. The ones that were selling those children out of the hotels in Summit County. They will be released back into society, and then they're going to sue the government for false arrest under fraud. They've already announced what they're doing, and they're doing it. See, what they did to me as Twilight Zone, what they did to Agent John was perfect. To get him to do a fraud case with me, open up a real case, and then just defraud me. And then there would be loopholes. And then they could get him. And they set him up perfectly. I worry about the children that won't be taken. And their lives cost because these monsters sell them. I lived through hell to save my family. The officers that work my case will scream and swear people. She deserves a hell of a lot more respect than what people give her. May 26, 24, Myers, North Main. Lady came in. The police that work her case said it's ridiculous for anybody to insult her. She almost died to save children. They already knew she was drugged and told to say it before. And the weird tape it weird with yourself is a shower scene and washing yourself in the other room. They already knew that. And it was just a scam. And it's ridiculous for anyone to ever insult her. She almost died to save everyone. My skull was bashed in on 12/21/18. Stabbed in the neck, bashed in the back of the head, beaten, raped, and left for dead. I suffered from migraines for 3 years. I'm now getting cataracts on the front of my eyes. I'm going to have surgery. I have a dent in the back of my head the size of a hammer. It should have killed me, and by the grace of God in my own life. I was raped. I was tortured July to September 19 by a fake FBI agent. I was human trafficked in 18 and 19. I was almost shot in the head driving within the first 2 months. I was beat in my stomach till they almost ruptured my intestines. I have large pouching in my intestines. Doctor said it can only happen by being repeatedly beat in your stomach where I have those giant bruises. I have a damaged rib cage and a damaged shoulder. I suffered through hell. I faced 6 stalkers. I was drugged till I lost 70 pounds. And they induced vomiting until my stomach shifted. Did you suffer this greatly, Agent John? Just to help the government. Most people win awards. I just wanted to let her thank you my money and a medical card and a new name for me and Carl so that his family that they incited to kill him won't show up. They can't find us because then we can live our life in peace. Did you suffer this greatly for this case? To save others? Did you suffer? I have enough horror for a lifetime of probably 10 or 100. They sold videos of all the horror they did to me. They sold a login within the first 20, I'd probably say the first 2 or 3 months. For Will found another way of making money off the case. He's selling the login for $25 a pop. M13 is live streaming protected custody cases now. He probably sold it to Mary's family member, the Henry Mafiewell guy. I don't think that family's funny to you. I'm going to upload this.